Romans 12:1-2, and it says, "Therefore I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will." And now Joey's going to come and pray.
All right, let's bow our heads in prayer. Dear Lord, I thank you for this night. Thank you for gathering all these students here so we can come and worship in your name. I pray that you will bless this time of worship. It will allow us to bring everything we have this week, lay it all aside, and just give our all to you during this time of worship. And I pray that you allow us to hear from your word through Edwin's message tonight. In Jesus' name, amen.
Well, welcome everybody. I'm glad you're here. You can go ahead and stand and we will
with my soul. It is well with my soul. Were creation suddenly articulate with 1,000 tongues to lift one cry? Then from north to south and east to west we hear Christ be magnified. Were the whole earth echoing his image, his name would burst from sea and sky, from rivers to the mountain tops we hear Christ be magnified. Oh, Christ be magnified, let his praise arise. Christ be magnified in me. Oh, Christ be magnified from the altar of my life. Christ be magnified in me. When every creature finds its inmost melody, and every human heart is native cry, oh then in long enraptured hymn of praise we'll sing Christ be magnified. Oh, Christ be magnified, let his praise arise. Christ be magnified in me. Oh, Christ be magnified from the altar of my life. Christ be magnified in me. Worship you, and if it puts me in the fire, I'll rejoice 'cause you're there too. I won't be for my feelings, I'll hold fast to what is true. And if the cross brings transformation, I'll be crucified with you. 'Cause death is just the doorway into resurrection life. And if I join you in your suffering, then I'll join you in your rise. And when you return in glory with all the angels and the saints, my heart will still be singing, and my song will be the same. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for just allowing us to be here today, Lord. I just want to ask that you bless this time, Lord, and just speak through Edwin tonight as he presents the message, Lord, and that we would be open to hear it and actively apply whatever it may be to our lives, Lord. And as we go throughout this next week, that everything that we do revolves around you and your will, Lord. And again, I just want to thank you so much for this time, and thank you for all the blessings you give us. All this in your name, I pray. Amen. Y'all can be seated.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Hot.
Hot? Yeah, I got that feeling. I couldn't complete a sentence earlier, so if I struggle tonight, you'll know why. Heat stroke probably earlier, I don't know. We'll see. But my name's Evan. I'm the campus minister here, and a group of us got together Saturday, and they don't know this, but here what took place Saturday and what we did is the BCM. Joey, I know you had a busy day. You did two things.
All got the connection, right? So the Massinellis initiated a group to get together and actually go to a local nursing home, local retirement community, and we played games with some of the residents there. So yes, me and Ben Walding, just not here tonight, got to game of Trivial Pursuit with Joe and June, two of the residents there, so that got pretty fun. And there's some other things going on. It was a really good experience to kind of see that community, really understand like how we're so fortunate right now to be able to bring joy to these people and have that opportunity.
I also went. I played spades. That wasn't with any of the old people, though. We were waiting for other people to show up. But see, I got to play some just card games with one of the residents, and then the other people that went. And I killed it in Go Fish. I killed it in. We played charades too. Yeah, so it was real fun going up there and beating old people at games. No, I'm just kidding. But it was a lot of fun. We could tell that they really enjoyed having us there. Like they came back in afterwards and told us how thankful they were, and then also talked us off for a little bit because you know how old people like to ramble on. But it was a really nice experience, and getting to do that with them was a lot of fun.
Okay, so me and Jalen played Go Fish the entire time with one. Well, there was one that played with us. Her name was Miss Birdie, and she was so sweet. And then I don't remember the other two's names. But after we played Go Fish, she wanted to play the piano. And so she got over there and started playing the piano, and she started handing out hymnals. And she was like, "Can y'all sing?" And so we're like, "Yeah." And so then we just sang hymns, and the singing sounded really bad, but the piano playing sounded really good. And so we got to do that. And then just before we were about to leave, she came back in, and she was like, "Hey, Micah, come here. And so she took us back to her room that she lived in, and she showed us the map of Brazil, and she explained to us how she had served in the mission field for 38 years with her husband in Brazil. And it was really cool. There was actually a city that they created the city in Brazil, and they were the first family to live there, and they were able to, she told us stories of how she was able to spread the gospel, and so it was really cool, and they were very appreciative that we came. And they wanted us to come back, so I'll have to go back.
Anybody else? How many of y'all, with a show of hands, you don't have to say it out loud, but how many of y'all know those verses by heart? I'm raising my hand just because I'm up front.
This world is not home.
This world is not home? Okay.
We are in this world, but we are not of this world.
In this world, but not of this world. Anybody else? Yeah.
We're called to trust God, not ourselves.
We're called to trust God and not ourselves. Okay.
His will is pleasing and perfect.
It's pleasing and perfect. That's sometimes hard to believe with the way our lives transpire. Is that right? It sounds like I'm saying we're dying, but the way that life goes. Have you ever had a time where a verse just keeps on coming up over and over again in your life, and you're going like, "Okay, God, what are you trying to teach me through this? What's going on?" Okay. Well, I've had that this past month, and I've been not struggling, that's not the right word, but I've been dealing with one verse and just kind of going over and over in my mind about it, and during some prayer time going, why does this keep coming up? What's about to happen? What's taking place? And so a couple of y'all prayed that I would have a good word tonight. Well, I'm switching up, okay? I want us to circle up, and we're going to talk about this verse tonight as a group, okay? And so if we can kind of circle up here, and I'm going to kind of move the camera. So if you're watching Spencer, Savannah, if you're watching, close your eyes for a second because it's about to get dizzy. Okay? So if y'all circle up right here, and we'll kind of have them.
Like one big circle?
One big circle, yeah. You bring, with a chair, with a chair, with a chair.
Oh,
Hey, peoples. Hey, Sawyer, can you look and see what they see? Are they seeing over everybody's head, or do I need to lower this? This is what I'm getting at. Oh, I thought it was right there. Well, if they're seeing the wall, they're seeing the wall. So I started with Romans 12, 1 and 2, because the verse that I keep on going over and over, or keep on seeing, and never really be explaining what. I can drop it if I need, lower it. So I don't know if they'll be able to hear very well. But Romans 12:12 is the verse that I've been coming across over and over again. And so I kind of want to give a little bit of it, but it is, I was telling one of the Davids, Arkansas David, about this, and he says, well, that'll be an easy verse to do because it's 3 points just right there. So very easy. But Romans 12, starting in verse 1, it says, therefore, I urge you, brothers and sisters. Does anybody need a Bible? We got Bibles in the back, I forgot. Therefore, I urge you, did we offer our bodies as a living sacrifice Saturday, holy and right? This is your true and proper worship. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is good. In verse 9 it starts out, this is how we do this. This is how we're supposed to be a living sacrifice. This is how we're supposed to show God's mercy. It just talks about, in verse 9, love must be sincere. Hate what is evil. Cling to what is, never be lacking in zeal, but keep your spiritual fervor. How do you say that word? Fervor? What? Fervor? Okay, I say fervor all the time, so I'm always going to mispronounce that word. Anyway, in prayer. Share with the Lord's people who are in need. Practice hospitality. Bless those who persecute you. Bless and do not curse. Rejoice with those who rejoice. Mourn with those who mourn. Live in harmony with one another. Do not be proud, but be willing to associate with people of low position. Patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. What does it mean to be joyful in hope? And here's the deal, okay? But the first time you say something tonight, I want you to kind of introduce yourself. Your name, something that's not memorable about you, so it's something that just say something about yourself. You don't have to, give name, rank, and serial number, but just kind of introduce yourself in some way. So what does it mean to rejoice in hope? How do y'all read that? What do y'all take from that? Come on, help me out. I'm the one struggling.
Well, hi again. My name is Clay. I can't think of anything interesting about me or something that y'all don't already know.
How long have you been singing in front of folks?
Since last year.
Last year?
Yeah. So, one thing that as Christians, our hope is Jesus Christ, that we have the relationship with Him that we have, and that when we die, spiritually we'll be able to spend eternity with Him. So just knowing that we have that force going on forever is our hope. And that should just be something that makes us joyful, because that's an awesome thing. So,
as college students, what do y'all rejoice about?
Being done.
Being done?
free meals.
What?
Free meals.
Free meals, okay.
Canceled class.
Okay.
Going to
Do you?
Yeah. Most of them.
Have you introduced yourself? I didn't.
Oh, I'm Haley, and I'm a interpreter. I'm sure that's what you're
Okay. What else do you rejoice in? Free meals?
Sawyer.
Sorry.
I'm a recent college graduate.
You know the first rule of business? There are no free meals. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Because somebody had to pay for it, right? Shirt, a meal, stuff like that. You know, freshmen don't know. Rejoicing in as college students. So what else do y'all rejoice in? Passing.
I'd say friendships and community in general.
I know a lot for me, my junior going into my senior year. I'm over the hump, just like a little bit more, and I'm there, so.
Yeah. You used hope of graduation. What does hope mean to Sawyer? What does that word mean?
Like for me, I wish to graduate.
Yeah.
And so while I wish that I graduate, I still have to apply myself and do the work, but the hope has to be that you gotta have the desire.
Word wish, maybe? You use that. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think most of us use that term hope as I wish this was going to come. Because I say hope a lot of times, and I don't think it's going to happen. I'm just really hoping it will. I'm wishing it does. Introduce yourself.
I'm JT. I do not actually play piano.
It was a figment of your imagination earlier tonight. So,
The capital H hope goes beyond just 70 degrees tomorrow, but that's not going to happen, right?
but I'm there with you. I'm hoping for it. Okay.
But this hope is hope that is anchored in something that we know is certain, right? And that is what you should believe.
Yeah. I'm often amazed at looking at the Old Testament and all the people that didn't get what they hoped for. What did David want? King David, what did he want to do for God? Moses, he led the people to the promised land, right? So what was he hoping to do? There. He just saw it from a mountainside, right? Who else in Scripture has this? Yeah, think of other examples. What about Father Abraham? Y'all sing that song, Father Abraham? There was actually more than two, because he did have a later wife after Sarah. But when you're just going to have 4 kids, you're going to need some think of others.
Joseph's brothers hoped that would be the end of it.
And that was a good thing, it wasn't. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I hadn't thought of it. Solomon to what?
Saul.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Solomon. Sorry. So I was very confused. Yeah, because he wanted Jonathan to take his throne. Yeah. I might not see it right now, but it's going to take place. It is already written in stone. These things are going to happen. God's going to make it happen. We rejoice in hope because Christ is our hope. Okay? And we know that's going to take place. We'll have it ready to be built. He was not allowed to build it. God said, no, you're not going to do it. Your son's going to build it. Okay? All of us, we've got these different hopes and dreams we want to have. God doesn't let us see them for whatever reason, but seeing Christ one day we will. It's already been talked about, rejoicing, being happy about something. And dude, I'll tell you what, some of my prayers are, God, thank you for letting me get to this red light, just because I want to get home or whatever. So rejoice in the little things. I think it's okay to do that, okay? I rejoice because I'm going to have a more intimate relationship with you than I do right now. And that's what's going to be really cool, right? So rejoice in hope. What does your scriptures have for that next phrase? Affliction? Okay.
It says affliction.
Affliction? Okay. What's the difference between tribulation and affliction? And I'm just asking that because that was...
Yes, tribulation would be more like a trial, and then affliction is like
But affliction, I think, is being sick,
yeah.
right? You had something to say, Joey? I saw
I
your
just think
hand.
like
go
it,
up.
I just think like affliction is like a punishment to use like what I think like.
Yeah, I've been reading through the last one. Pestilence.
Mhm. Those are always fun. Do what, JT?
And the like.
And the like. Okay. Somebody had be patient. What was the other one? I had persistent in one of them. Persistent. Or maybe that's the next one. Sorry, it's persistent prayer. I'm sorry. I've read so many different translations of this verse that it's confused in my head. So, patient. What does that mean? Patient in affliction, patient in tribulation. What is? Other people can talk too. Just don't need to be us five. You're okay.
I'm
Okay.
3. He's number 1.
You're one? Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
So, like, patient is waiting without getting upset or, like, anxious about.
And I did something that was yesterday or today. I prayed for patience for somebody, and I just said the day before, I've never prayed that for anybody before. And I messed up. Prayed for patience. Sorry, whoever that was that I prayed for patience, because that. No? Try to be?
Yeah. It's a struggle.
It's a struggle?
Depends on the day.
Depends on the day? Okay.
Depends on the day and my nose.
Yeah, man, come on, grab a chair. You want to make some room for him?
Depends on the person.
What do you mean by that?
Like, Jalen and I have less patience with than, like, the average human.
Y'all can have less than that?
She's honest.
With each other.
Why do you think that is?
I mean, I'm going to say this, and we're all immediately going to think of that face of that person who is.
Are you talking about me?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. But just like we all have those people where you just butt heads with constantly.
Yeah.
But we're called to be just as patient and just as loving with them as anybody else.
Yeah.
That's
I've got a 13-year-old daughter, and to see her react to me and my wife, and see her to react to other people doing the same things, and it's such a different response. Because she knows us, she's familiar with us, she's comfortable. But other people, she would never dare have a smart word or anything to. Do we do that with others? Why is that? Why? Because you're already talking about, why do we have a different response to one person?
It's so, like, I mean, I'm not like a bully to her, or I don't think I am.
Most of the time. Right?
Yeah. So, like, I know that if I'm a little less, and it's not a good thing at all. I'm not saying, like, you should do this to your sibling. But, like, if I'm less patient with.
Now, how would you react if somebody else treated her the way you treat her sometimes?
Well, I don't know.
Would you come to her defense? No? Yes?
I feel like I've gotten.
I saw a meme the other day. It said, people with siblings are more prepared for life because they understand affliction, pain, what is it, mental, psychological. Thank you. I was trying to come up with being patient and affirmities. Why is that a part of living a life of sacrifice?
Just learn about yourself.
Learn about yourself?
A lot of people don't reach that point. Like, as soon as they hit a bump in the road, it's like, oh man, especially like kids coming up now, like, they don't get told no, they're never wrong, they don't learn. And so that hurts them because, so that, to me, that's necessary to grow, not only as a person, but also as a Christian. Because if you come into the game and you're just, I mean, that's what Jesus did. He came to the earth because, yeah. I was trying to wrap it up.
What'd you say?
We're not divine.
We're not divine? Okay.
And backing off that, like, what are you doing is better than this time? And if I don't want to wait on this time, I want to go ahead and do what I think is best for me, not what he knows is best for me.
You have a
we are told that it's not going to be sunshine and rainbows. You will face persecution.
Where's that written?
In the Bible.
In the Bible? Okay. I don't know if Princess Bride, that means neat because, Scripture tells us over and over again. Yet, as Christians, we just expect sunshine and rainbows all the time, right? No? Is that not the way the world looks at us sometimes though.
I was going to say, count it all joy, my brothers, when you face trials of various kinds.
Yeah.
That is the test of your faith.
What kind of trials do y'all face as college students?
Like you go around, and I fall into this so much, but it's like, I'm living here, I have this job right now, but I'm not going to have it forever. Is this where I'm going to stay for my career? What do I want to do in my career? I want to settle down here. Who am I going to be in the future? And it's like, dude, this is a lamp to my feet.
Right.
Not a spotlight to the rest of my life.
Right. What kind of tribulations you're all going through right now? You don't have to get too personal, but yeah. Well, if it makes you feel any better, like 85% of the people that have a degree are working in a different field than their degree, like 4 years after graduation. So it's not speaking. Yeah, that's a tough one. Y'all do have a lot of questions y'all are trying to answer right now. You're the only one that can answer them. Nobody else can answer them for you. And if somebody else is, that makes it worse.
For me, asking me for help or asking me for money or asking me for rides, and it's like, I want to help them, but I just don't think I'm physically or mentally able to do it all the time, and sometimes it gets annoying when they ask and ask and ask, and for help when they really need it.
I would say one big one for me was figuring out how to do stuff on my own without being in the same house as my parents all the time, having been to a bulky food.
I think for me, it's been kind of the transition from one school to the next. And one, like, very similar to what you said, is moving out, like, it's just a change of, pace. I mean, like, you're in your own space, your parents aren't there, which, I mean, you've depended on your parents for so long, and now you're thrust in on your own, and that's just the way it is. Right? Yeah. All these things that, for the longest time, your parents helped you with, and so now all of that you have to do yourself, and it can be very stressful.
Coming home for the summer.
I know,
All the dynamics are different,
yeah.
right? So, I don't know why I just saw this, but one of the worst things I ever did, a college student living away, coming home, I thought it was going to be the realest weekend I ever had. She didn't throw me the weekend. It took me a while to figure out, why is she so mad at me? Why is she upset? I did something nice, something great. But she loved doing it. She wanted her boy back home. So there's still trials, there's still afflictions, there's still other stuff. It might change, and I might still do the same stuff. I didn't marry until later in my life, so I have that question going on whether or not I would marry or not, and all those different things. It's seeing other people afflicted, other people going through trials. And I know some of my worst times spiritually is when a lot of my friends are going through stuff, and I can't do anything. I've got a buddy right now, and we do not agree theologically all the way, but we do know Jesus is. We do understand that. We do have a relationship with Him, and just his life. I mean, he's got 2 kids, all vice, multiple car breakdowns. Finally got a car fixed. He had a wreck in it 3 days later. AC going out in the house, having to live in the basement because there's no AC upstairs. All these different things. So sometimes I need to be patient with other people's affliction. That sounds really weird to say. I'm no great hero or anything, think I can go through all this stuff as well because I've been not. And sometimes you just have to step back, take your breath, and just deal with one thing at a time. Not trying to answer all 50 questions at one moment, or not trying to fix all the problems that are going on in your life at one time. What else about persistent prayer?
That's the next one.
Do what?
That's the next one, persistent prayer.
Okay. You want to go to there? What does it mean to be persistent in prayer?
Not constant, instead of persistent.
Okay. Mine is persistent, but patient.
In prayer.
Okay. Yeah, faithful in prayer is this one. Patient. So what does it mean to be faithful in prayer?
If only somebody would have heard that.
What does that mean? To you, what does that mean?
Just praying throughout my entire day. Like if I'm nervous before going somewhere, I just pray right then. Or if I like see an ambulance, I pray over that. Or just like living a lifestyle of prayer. That has helped me. So thank God. Instead of just asking like, I need this, please be with so and so, but thanking Him when He does answer prayers, or even when He doesn't. That's hard. But
Yeah.
I think the version that I have, it says possible for me to be praying at every moment of every day. But when you really think about it, there's like so many different opportunities for you to just be praying, whether it's while you're just driving around in your car or you're doing something around the house and you have to get up and do, you can literally do it at any time, at any point of the day. So just having to be like a constant thought that prayer is important and it is something that we should do. And it's something that we should. Who are you?
I'm David. I live here. So in the CS world, persistence is a tribute. It means that no matter what the user does, and so I like my Bible will say I like the phrase persistent because it's like no matter what we're doing, we can always rely and fall back on prayer. It will always be there for us.
Yeah, I think it's like so like
Right.
for the good and the bad, you are constantly talking to God. I mean, obviously, you can't talk to God or sleep or whatever,
Are
but
you sure about that?
not that I'm aware of.
He talks to
but
us about
it's keeping that relationship going because, I think this one really ties it all together because without the relationship with God, you'd be so surprised that even how like one day without prayer can just throw you off. At least in my own personal experience, it just throws you off, and then, like JT said, you start to rely on yourself and start to put yourself above God, and so.
What kind of communication does a relationship require? Two, not one. So, are we? Prayer is not just me talking at God. It is also me being still and waiting. That prayer is a posture. If it is a posture of relationship,
Right.
relationship requires communication between two parties.
Right.
So often I fall into listening for God's answer, and having that time to just be still and let the Spirit move. Right. So am I just like I'm trying to think of an example? And you never think about it again.
Right.
Right. Or at night it's like, God, help me with this, X, Y, Z, whatever. Right. But do you stay in that posture long enough a day, right? Like today I had a fairly slow day at work and I spent several hours just like manning spreadsheets, right? It was like, looking back, I could have used that both via prayer of petition and prayer to hear God's answer in prayer. Because when we ask, He answers. We know He answers. We're told He answers.
Right.
The question is whether or not we're listening.
Pray. You have a set time. You have a set length. Anybody want to share?
So I have a list, and I don't just like limit to that list.
Right.
I'm not sitting there like check. But right when I wake up in the morning, it's the first thing I do. And it often takes a very long time because my mind gets distracted. And like I'm still praying, I just think of other things to pray about. And so and then just throughout the day, like I said, like just in different situations, I'll find myself praying. And then right before I go to bed, the same thing, I start praying. Or like whenever I study my Bible, I pray right before.
I'll be honest, I very rarely pray before my Bible study. I pray after.
Yeah, I don't do it every time. Probably should.
Who else? I've got a few set times in the day that I do prayer, like just ask Him to be with me as I go about everything, and that everything I do revolves around You. And then always pray. Like only set times other than that would be before meals, and then after I finish reading my Bible, it pops up into my head, like just say either something like "Thank you, God," or pray for this person if I see something like an ambulance going by, or just really just whenever I think about it, I'm like, oh yeah, I should probably pray.
I'm gonna ask this since both of you.
My mom.
No.
I feel so bad though.
I used to feel guilty about it, then I realized, man, that is the most peaceful sleep I ever get.
Yeah, but I'm always like, oh, I didn't pray for this person or for this and
I was
this.
talking to my mom about that not too long ago, and I used to feel really guilty about it too. I'm like, man, I fell asleep on God. Like, I feel really bad. But then she asked me, she's like, well, how do you feel when like a baby falls asleep on you? Like that is just the sweetest thing.
The baby falls asleep.
Yeah,
So.
and so that we're so comforted by our prayer that we are able to fall asleep. So that made me feel a little less guilty.
I used to try to, here lately, try to wake up in the morning, and I'm starting to see a pattern here of waking up and praying and going to sleep and praying and trying to do that. But I mean, like, or surrender to God for the day. It's like, God, I choose you today. Let him help me to bear my cross today. And then I do the same thing when I go to sleep. It's like, God, I surrender to you. I respond, I present myself as an offering for God. God, use me however you want. I don't care what that may be. If I have to suffer for the rest of my life, so be it. That's. However, it's a hard thing to get to.
I often think about the man that was blind for 30 or 40 years, and then he received sight, and the disciples are going, who sinned, this man or his parents? And God said, oh, Jesus goes. And God would do whatever, so he would be glorified later on. But I'm not here at all. I have to write an assessment every year about how I thought the year went and everything. And this year, at the end, it says that 1 hour prayer day or time every day, stuff like that. And my prayer is usually doing something mindless. Now, this is not mindless, but I can remember vividly in high school having a quote, you need to be paying attention when you're driving. Okay, I was praying with my eyes open, but cutting the grass, I can think numerous times. Me and God have had some wonderful conversations. My call to ministry, I was climbing a 14er. I was climbing up a mountain. But it was me and God talking at no time. So don't think that, I don't put in my prayer closet and sit and pray for hours on end. I must not have a good relationship with God. Everybody's different. Well, you might know there was a man, I want to say it's like Pilgrim's Progress. He went out and got on his hands and knees and started praying, and when he was done, he was covered in snow. I remember reading about that. I don't remember covered in before I got done. It's just amazing what other people have, the relationship they have with God, and the way they commune with Him. And I don't want to be jealous of that, but I want to strive.
I grew up, my family, we would always, before we were always in bed, we'd all leave the living room, say the prayers, when
Oh, really?
at night. And so, I tend to pray at night, stuff about the next day, if I got something coming up, hey, you with me, here's this. And then, tend to pray for family, close friends and stuff, Sunday afternoon too, got a list of people on text or something, hey, I ain't prayer request this week. And then, I try to be, in college, because, he's a big prayer warrior. So, and that was something he always taught me, my brother. It's whenever we send prayer requests, he'd be okay, what is it, what day, do I need to pray, what time? And so,
I know you got on his Facebook, but the reason I did is because he's got 550 ministers that he prays for weekly. And I'm just like, wow, that's impressive. I want to be your friend. It doesn't have to be a person in this room, but who do you look up to in their prayer life? Anybody that you know?
There's a lady at our church named Shirley Reese.
Yes.
And Shirley. But people joke that she has a direct line to heaven.
Yeah.
And so it's just she's just prayed, seen them be healed. And I mean, just in so many different areas, we just know that Miss Shirley's praying for them.
Yeah.
So,
She wrote my mom a letter one time. Whatever it was that Shirley wrote to her in letter, it just helped her so much, whether it was like physical or spiritual healing. And I'll never forget it, she signed it Shirley in Jesus. Like her relationship with God is just, it's remarkable. Like, it's sweet.
Who else? Someone you've always said is James, Jesus' brother,
Yeah.
that he prayed so much that he got camel knees. Where I'm
Yeah.
just praying as much as I can do.
We had a similar lady I always take it under.
Okay.
I always.
I'm writing his names
Kinda
down because I'm.
joking.
We also have a man in our church named Mr. Larry. I know I talk about Mr. Larry all the time. But we have prayer meetings on Wednesday, and so people will give prayer requests, and he sits there with the notebooks when he will go to that person and make sure he finds out what that prayer request was. And then I'm sure he prays over all of them. Wow.
Who looks up to you for your prayer leader as an example of prayer? Maybe not for something else. Scary. And he said some of us aren't making disciples. And you asked me to critique the book. I know that's very funny because I don't read. But that was one of my critiques was, you said some of us aren't making disciples. And I said, I disagree with you. I said, it's just a matter, not many people go beyond what you teach them. So if your prayer life's not good, it's hard for them to have a good prayer life. If your Bible study time is not consistent and done well, properly, consistently, that's the example you're giving them and what they're following. And I think about that. I think about where I feel a lot. I need to do better. And I know y'all heard about school shootings and everything. Columbine was the one that was kind of one of the first big ones that hit the news. That there was shootings before that, but I was shot. And I think, wow, that's pretty impressive. And I think I could do that if the moment rises. Probably could, okay? But I like to think I could. Sometimes that sounds easier than living our life for Christ. That one guillotine or hanging on a rope or being burned by, that's a different story. But it's that whole idea of one moment I profess Christ, I'm gone, I'm with Him, everything's. And do we do that? And these are some of the practical ways in Romans that we're taught. This is how you become a living sacrifice. You rejoice in hope. Your three things that I'm studying about myself, right? And what I kind of wanted to talk about tonight to hear from y'all. Because I don't care who you are and how good you have these things, we all can improve. People pray, it's just a tough thing, but it's what's being asked of us, and that's what's important for other people as much as it is for us. But say one thing and do something completely different. We all know people like that. It doesn't have to be in a Christian lifestyle, but we all have those guys open dinner with that say one thing and do something. I want to lead us in a prayer, and while I do, the praise team wants to get up. I can't get one more song. We don't have to put the chairs back, but I bet they're going to want us to stand after the prayer. So I want to thank you tonight, Lord. I thank you for your scripture, and you just pressing it on us and us being able to read, to try to understand you better. But just that ability to get me to listen. I know sometimes I feel like I'm sitting in silence, and other times I feel like you're saying so much I can't comprehend. Father, I pray that we will do better being living sacrifices. That when we have our hope sealed in you, that we are confident in that. And if somebody's here not confident in that, Lord, that they would make sure that they're confident before they leave this meeting tonight. God, that we can be patient and try to take care of others. And just being patient and realizing that nothing's too big for you. That you know what's coming ahead. You know everything that's taking place. And it's not for you to know who we are made of and what we're made of and how we can handle things. It's for us to be persistent. Lord, I know I'm even talking to you. Father, I thank you for always
you for what you're doing. Thank you for always being there, right there beside me, in each of us. And I pray that we take those funds and that we wouldn't worry about guilt, we wouldn't worry about shame, but we would come to you, just going to you as a child and father, just going to take care and help you. You're a loving father, you're a caring father, you take care of us. But I know it needs to happen in my life, so I can be a better person and a better Christian. Jesus, thank you for what you do for us. Thank you for being the perfect son, living that perfect life, doing these things, and you rejoice in that because you do it in many ways. Thank you that you loved us enough to do that. Spirit, keep teaching us. Don't give up on us. Keep on being who you are so that we can go.
How deep the Father's love for us, how vast beyond that He should give His only Son to make a wretched treasure. Searing walls, the Father turns His face away as we bring many sons to glory. Behold the man upon His shoulders. Ashamed, I hear my mocking voice call out among the scoffers. Held Him there until it was accomplished. His daughter I know that it is finished. In anything, who gives no power, no wisdom, but I will boast in Jesus' resurrection. Why should I gain from His reward? I cannot give Him all my heart. His wounds have paid my ransom. Why should I gain from His reward? But this I know with all my heart, His wounds have paid my ransom.
Okay, so announcements for this week. First, we have Connect groups are due July 19th. So if you want to do that, there is a Google form and get in contact. Something that we do here at BCM, it is a student-led Bible study. So if you're interested in leading it, you need one other person to do it. Sometimes we approve one person, but that's special. Next, there's 305 watch a Christmas movie with them July 25th, and I'm not sure what time that is, but we'll get that to you soon. It is a Monday.